Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, a little bonus episode for you. In the most recent YouTube episode, did want to cover a story that was in both Sports Illustrated as well as the New York Post, and that was Stevie Cohen's second meeting with Juan Soto, in which he thought after that meeting he was actually going back to the Yankees. Because of time constraints, wasn't able to include it in the last YouTube episode. So again, since it's something to discuss, so a little bonus for you audio podcast subscribers. So we'll go over that, as well as some additional just kind of thoughts again regarding the opening day win against the Brewers. I already did that episode, but I had some other things I thought about as well, and I thought, I should thought about it after the fact. So we'll include a little bit of that, and of course maybe want to throw a little shade on our little Met brothers there. Speaking of Juan Soto and Clay Holmes, not exactly the greatest of opening day there, and their opening day loss to the Houston Astros. So we'll throw a little salt on the wounds there. So it's a bit of a mixed bag episode there. A little Stevie Cohen, a little trash in the Mets, and again, some more thoughts on the Yankees opening day as well. So get into the whole thing. But before we get started, make sure you subscribe to this podcast, Section 420 Talkin Yankees podcast. That's why you want to be a podcast subscriber. And also make sure you go to YouTube, search for Section 420 Talkin Yankees, and subscribe to that channel as well. So it was a story initially caught it was in the New York Post, but the original story was Sports Illustrated. And that had to do with Stevie Cohen's second meeting with Juan Soto, where afterwards he felt that, he just didn't get some good vibes from it. And he called it, quote unquote, the worst meeting he ever had there, which is kind of strong words. He's a big business guy. He's done billions and billions of dollars deals and all this stuff. And obviously, we know the whole thing about him. I guess the antagonist from Billions is supposed to be based on him, and he's had all these meetings, yet this one against Juan Soto he considered his worst ever. And basically what happened was it was the second meeting. So the first round of meetings happened out in California. This was in Cohen's Boca Raton home, so it's good to be Stevie Cohen. You have homes in LA and Florida as well. And basically at the meeting, Soto was just kind of like, not really like why would I join, but like almost like why would I not join? He just felt that the meeting was very negative, and really the crux of it was who's going to protect him in the lineup. And he kind of mentioned that when he was in San Diego, he had Manny Machado batting behind him, giving him protection. And of course, last season we all know Aaron Judge batting behind him, which gave him that protection in the lineup. And he's like, what do you got for me? And this is at the time, obviously, Pete Alonso was not signed yet. And there was this kind of a void, Soto basically worrying about his stats, which I can understand. Look, you bat, with Judge in the lineup there, you end up have a career high 41 home runs. You put up great numbers there. That's the type of quality Soto wants to be with. And at the time, Pete Alonso wasn't signed. If he is signed, Alonso's a great slugger, but he's not Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge has got the eye at the plate. He's got the batting average. He gets the walks. He's an MVP player. No shock that Juan Soto wants that same quality if he's going to sign with the Mets. So, Stevie Cohen was always like, well, why we even have this meeting then if it's just, about you worrying about other people in the lineup versus what we can do for you. So this is kind of gave Cohen some bad vibes there. Now, this meeting supposedly took place on December 6th, but I guess whatever answers Cohen gave him, whatever answers he received, Soto, I guess he felt good about it. He then went to Boris and basically said, all right, just work out the deal and get it done. And, of course, 5 days later, they worked out the X's and O's and the dollar amounts and years and all of that stuff and the luxury suites. And, of course, then by the 11th, Soto was officially announced to be signing with the Mets. But, again, it's just kind of little bad look for Soto there because it's sort of like he's just worrying about his personal stats and his numbers. And again, as more and more of the stuff unfolded with Soto, you just see the type of guy he is. I'm not saying he's a bad guy. Hey, look, there's nothing wrong going on for the most money and stuff like that. But, the whole thing with the Yankees and wanting his own suite for his family and stuff like that. And that's something that even G didn't get, even the current captain Judge didn't get. Now he wants that, and obviously that's what he got from the Mets. But just worrying about those things and worrying about who's going to protect me in the lineup, and I want to make sure I have the my best stats possible and all that stuff. It's just not a good look for Soto there. So again, it's a situation where he just doesn't come out looking good. Is he evil, bad, stuff like that? No, I'm not saying he's going for the money. He's all okay. Look, everyone goes for the money. I understand that, but little things like that you just see coming out about him. But just not really that great. And again, whether he gets booed or not when he comes back to Yankee Stadium, I think this kind of swings the pendulum of more boo birds than not. Yeah, I think he'll get a healthy hand because look, he had a really good season. For his 1 year, he was good. He just said all the right things, stuff like that. Got the Yankees, helped them get to a World Series. Had a huge home run in that final game against Cleveland to kind of put that game away there. So, some good moments in them, and it's a shame that it worked out there. But again, this story where Cohen felt this after that meeting, it was almost like a Debbie Downer that he felt that he was going to go back to sign with the Yankees after that because they maybe just didn't like his answers. But of course, he did it. And then not too long after that, they worked out the deal to bring Alonso back. And yeah, again, Lindor's great, and have Anil and of course Alonso, stuff like that. Again, looks like the Mets lineup is pretty good, but not the same with Aaron Judge there. So, we'll see what other big name, we'll see what Cohen brings in the future. Maybe Vladdy Guerrero Jr., something like that there to spice up maybe what, who knows what promises he made to Soto of who he'll bring in down the road from there. So that's the little story. Just didn't really get into it just because the last YouTube episodes ran out of time there. So this is a little bonus story for you to chew on there. And, of course, speaking about those Mets, opening day loss for them, 3-1 loss there, where a couple of former Yankees had a hand in it. One of them being Juan Soto, who went for 1 for 3 in the game, did have a hit early, but in a huge spot where the Mets loaded the bases up and had a chance to actually have a big miracle Met ninth inning comeback, kind of like what they did last season during the postseason there, in the big spot against Josh Hader. Juan Soto striking out there. And then, of all people, and to put an end to that Mets rally. And just ironically enough, remember about a year ago when the Yankees had opening their season down in Houston, there was a matchup versus Soto versus Hader, and actually Soto ripped a single off from up the middle there. So it's just kind of funny now this year because Hader gets his revenge and gets Soto out in a big spot. And then, ironically, making the start for that game, of all people, Clay Holmes, the former Yankee closer, former Yankee bullpen guy who's now converted to a starter for the Mets. Not a great start for him. Not saying it was total garbage, but it's just kind of what you get expect from Clay Holmes. Went 4 2/3 inning, gave up 3 runs, only 2 of them were earned. And this is this thing with Clay Holmes. He had 4 strikeouts, great, but also 4 walks. So, his stuff, when he's on, he's untouchable. But then, of course, we have the situation where he gets the yips and he gets the walks and he gets all out of whack. And so not a good opening day for Clay Holmes. I'm not going to write him off, but again, just not a good start there. But that's what you're going to get with Clay Holmes. He's going to, if he's on, he's great. But he also, he gets out of whack, and then 4 walks and 4 2/3 inning, not good at all there. So let's see if he gets himself straightened out. And as for the Yankees, again, opening day win there against 4-2 against the Brewers. Again, they were pretty much on cruise control. They may just sweat a tad a bit in the 6th inning. Of course, they were really sweating a little bit there in the 9th inning. But, again, Devin Williams able to close it out there. But, again, other aspects I really didn't get to, really mention the last time. And one, of course, we all think about is the facial hair. Of course, we saw Rondon with the almost a beard, not a beard exactly. So he's definitely taking advantage of the new updated facial hair regulations. Of course, Devin Williams, who was probably the one who instigated the whole thing. And I was kind of, surprising. And I actually, I enjoyed the broadcast kind of with, Buck and Girardi, and the Brewers guy kind of slips my name. But I kind of like, you kind of like Buck is the even keel guy, and then Girardi's kind of the Yankee guy, and then you have the Brewer guy. So I like the way they played it out. And actually, I thought it was a good flow. This definitely, this wasn't Bob Costas from 2 postseasons ago where people just like looking to burn their ears out with him. So I thought Buck, since he'd been out of the game for a while, at least out of baseball, did a fine job. I had no problem with the broadcast. What was surprising actually was Girardi, of all people, who actually was encouraged, actually liked the Yankees kind of loosening up the facial hair regulations. Just because I remember when he was back, started managing with the Marlins, he actually brought some of those Yankee regulations down when he was managing the Marlins there, one of them being, some of the facial hair regulations, as well as, the clubhouse, cleaning out the junk food and stuff like that and put more healthy options. Girardi was kind of that guy, and even when Girardi was here, again, very kind of, X's and O's guy, straight shooter, had no problem pulling someone like Cano out of a game if he felt it wasn't performing well. And we saw what he did on the field with people like Gary Sanchez or Aroldis Chapman. So, Girardi, a pretty button-up guy, and just kind of shocked that he was actually cool with it. He actually liked the idea that, Steinbrenner kind of loosened up the old Yankee regulations at the fascia. So kind of found that a little surprising there, of all people, Girardi. So, I didn't really get to mention that there. But again, overall, the telecast did a good job. So that's the episode. A little Stevie Cohen there. Thought he lost Soto to the Yankees, but he ultimately got him. But paid him a lot of money and struck out in a big spot. But again, this is one game opening day. I'm sure Soto's going to have a good season. He's going to put up the numbers that he probably would have put up if he was going to be with the Yankees. Probably not, but he's still going to be one of the top players in the game. And again, the Yankees now move on and got the rest of the series. And then after the Brewers, the Diamondbacks coming to town as well there. So, we'll see how that all goes. Catch you next time.